Hi. Um, Today we're going to touch on, in this video, we're going to touch on the topic of depression. And I find that it's often misunderstood, including by myself. I didn't appreciate it until I had gone through it for maybe about a 3-year period myself, and then realized how dangerous, or how intense it could be. I'm usually an optimistic person, happy-go-lucky, regardless of what situation. I try to pride myself in that. But during that 3-year run, I noticed something about myself. Misery was euphoric. And that's what I want to get into today. I want to talk about the topic, a very important topic that seems to affect many people in society, and that is depression. Um, if it wasn't for depression, if you really think about it, we wouldn't enjoy the occurrence of happiness, or joy, or even calm. Even being calm, we wouldn't appreciate. In fact, for some people, if they were being honest, um, at points for all of us who have experienced depression so far, um, depression can be pleasurable, believe it or not. Um, this is why, if you know, miserable people like to see others as sad as them, even drawing pleasure from it. When you're in a bad mood, in a depressed mood, one of the worst things that can happen is when a person who's bubbly and happy-go-lucky and always talking positive is just there, and even though you know that their life is without is not without problems, they're just so happy. They always got a positive way to look at things. They're always smiling. They're always laughing in the face of what for you would be depressing. Now, this doesn't, so in your depressed mind, this person almost seems to be attacking you, even though they don't realize it. This person's such an annoyance that you just want them to get them or any other person that's around you in the same mindset as you. Because depression is kind of lonely as well. So if it wasn't pleasurable to people experiencing depression for them to draw pleasure from um, affecting others, there would be no point to misery liking company. You see what I'm saying? Also, depressed people have, depression gives you this power. Anyone comes around you, you have more power of pulling them down to your stress level rather than the opposite of them bringing you out of depression and bringing you up to an optimistic way of looking at life, or bringing you to a point of joy. But when I consider the fact that without depression, we wouldn't appreciate happiness. And when I say depression, it also, you can call that the extreme of sadness, grieving, or even anger. Those all go along and follow from depression. Depression just being the worst, most extreme point of those feelings. So when I say that when I came to the realization that we wouldn't be able to appreciate joy, happiness, or even, I don't want to say pleasure, because as you can see, as you'll see, or excuse me, as I just stated, depressed people can still feel pleasure from making other people uh, miserable as well, or depressed. But So when it comes to pleasure, I don't know if I want to equate that with happiness. Or maybe we should, no, maybe we should just equate it with happiness and just realize that happiness really isn't the primary goal in life. Maybe that's not the primary feeling we are supposed to be going for. Maybe it is just being intellectual, even keel. Because what do they say? You don't want to get too high when you're happy, and you don't want to get too low when you're depressed. So then wouldn't that mean the ideal mental state would be even keel? In any case, unfortunately, what this brings me to is the realization that depression is a necessity in life experience. Calmness or joy wouldn't be noticed without depression. I won't say that it is a necessary evil, because evil is attributed to our human perspective and our moral view. To me, if anything, anything necessary has to be neutral, has to be considered neutral in life, because it's necessary. We couldn't do without it, like death or pain. So it's neither to be considered good or bad, just an intricate component of the macrocosm of life experience. Now, also, I wanted to cover about depression is that depression doesn't give you the right to not participate in society, or to not be respectful to others in society, or to not have ambition, not have societal ambitions. And depression does not mean that you cannot affect society in a positive way. And to highlight this, I want to talk about a very, very talented human being, Robin Williams, who, if you, when I came up, Robin Williams was Mork and Mindy. He was on a few shows, but I would always study him on his interviews that he would go around Good Morning America, the talk shows in the morning or whatever he'd be on. I would always wonder to myself why he went so hard, so intense in trying to be funny. You could tell this man was constantly trying to be funny, even overly so in many instances. And it would always bother me. I'd always think to myself, man, this guy's trying too hard. But once I realized that he was clinically depressed, and I don't want to say clinically as if you haven't been clinically depressed, that means that you're unofficially, that we're not supposed to consider you a depressed person. No. Depression is the symptoms. Follow the symptoms of it. If you always find yourself sad all the time, can't experience joy, sincere joy for others all the time, then yeah, chances are you're depressed already. But you should not let that state of mind prevent you from sharing your talents with the rest of us. Remember, each one of us here are here to affect the other one. And since that's the case, we might as well do it in a positive way. Because we want to leave the world better off than we found it. Don't we? Even a depressed person should want that. Yeah, Robin Williams never stifled his genius. He shared his genius with the world. He tried to make others happy. He did not at least publicly, tried to bring others down to his level of depression. And that is how I remember Robin Williams. Not for the way that he killed himself. We're all going to die. So really, that's arbitrary. What we should remember, I told you, I don't look at people, I don't base people's identity and who they are on what skin color they are or what their appearance is. It is what you do. And in that light, when we consider Robin Williams' actions over his life experience, when it comes to dealing with his depression as a comedian, the man is a hero. The man is a hero in my mind. Anyone that can be so miserable mentally, such in a negative place, and still have the presence of mind and wherewithal and the compassion to say, you know what, I'm not going to impose my negativity and project it onto the rest of the world. I'm going to try to find a way to switch it around and still be of some value to the world, still be of some value to others. That is what we need to be focused on. That is what we need to be focused on. And that's what made Robin Williams a genius. And if you're depressed, if you're in a mode of depression, whether it be a short duration of it or it's just an ongoing thing, I'm not going to hold you at fault for that. I understand. I don't even know how I found my way out of it. I moved to Somerset, an area called Somerset from Delaware, and eventually I started, little by little. It was a process. So it's not like a instantaneous, someone's going to snap out of it kind of thing. But I don't want you to feel like you should not share that you don't have talent, that you don't have skills to share with the world, that the world cannot still benefit from hearing about what you go through in depression. Don't just regurgitate. I see a lot of people post on Facebook regurgitated sayings about depression. It's almost like it's an instruction manual, and some people are just trying to go by what the instructions say of what being depressed should be. So they act as if. No. If you're depressed, there shouldn't be a need to look to other people's ideas to express how you feel about being depressed. If you're depressed, shouldn't you be able to just tell us what it's like? Tell us what you're going through? The very fact of you doing that alone. Remember, you're a human being. You're a member of a social species. We affect each other. Someone will be affected. And now it depending on what you say, what you convey across in your message and communication to others, will determine whether your effect will be a positive one or of a negative value. Thank you.